All right, pre-show shenanigans, Everett. Why don't you inform the people what's going on right now with your blinds, your lights?
So
Are you blinded by the light right now, Everett? Is that the best term that we could have for this? What would you
a
say
little
is the
bit,
best
yeah.
way to recap?
The best way I can describe this is we'll do whatever it takes to give you guys good content. Um, my room that I'm in, if you guys have watched the
Mm-hmm.
last couple episodes, my face has been I've looked like an Oompa Loompa. I have looked like
At times,
the whitest man on the planet. Um,
occasionally,
I have looked completely fine. The issue at hand is that the room that I'm in does not have blinds.
yeah.
So I have blinds on two windows. In the one window where my desk is, there are absolutely no blinds, and it just so happens that the sun goes directly through. So,
Yeah.
um,
Some might call it a natural ring light, but hey, that's
the
what
only
some
issue
people
is with
say.
the ring lights are behind the camera. This is like on my face. This is on the
Yeah,
side.
yeah. There's a slight contrast
Slight
there from
issue.
the look that
So,
we're exactly looking for.
because I don't own blinds currently to fix this issue, we've made makeshift blinds today. The
Yes.
blinds that we are using, I have a trash bag.
Mhm.
Literally, here, I'll just show
Yeah,
everybody here.
quick
There is
pan.
a trash bag literally tied to my window uh, that is being used
Yeah.
as a blind today.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So
Yeah, no, this is ratchet.
that is where we are at currently with our making sure that we have proper lighting and everything for content production
Yeah, I mean, the
for the
odds are this
podcast.
will be slightly over the place, maybe a little out of order, one might say. But yeah, we might be a little bit out of the ordinary, a little bit out of the stretch. But ever the other
What
important,
are you talking about?
well, I was just saying,
Just content in general.
with this light, it's
Oh, with the light.
I mean, mentally, I don't know how you're gonna get through this. We might have to
Hey,
embrace
hey,
this debate.
I
What's worse,
it's
the poor
it.
lighting or the flu pod? Like these are some questions that we
No,
really got to consider.
the flu pod was pretty egregious.
Okay. Fair
That,
enough.
but
Fair enough.
that still might have been one of my best episodes yet, though. To be fair,
Considering that the handicaps placed on you for that, definitely one of the more courageous acts
this
we've
might be
done
my
during this
most
podcast.
ingenious episode ever.
Potentially, we might
But
might have to go back either that or the quarterback water boy analytics. One of those two for sure.
oh yeah, no, I mean there's also the season stats, the prediction for records. I
Yeah.
spent two and a
That
half
was another
hours on
data
that one.
day. Data day.
Data
That was a
day,
big one.
yeah.
But as of right now, we got some other big stories that we got to dive into, Everett. The recent murders of Grimace. This is the story that doesn't quite sit well with me. The brutal killings that have occurred from Grimace for his birthday celebration, no less. Uh, Ever, I really wanted to know, with the Grimace scandal going on, what steps have Tulane made, to protect your guys' players, protect your athletes from the crimes being committed by Grimace? Are we having a no McDonald's rule right now? How exactly is
It,
Tulane combating these dangers at
it,
hand?
there's a curfew implementation. You cannot go and get Mickey D's after 6 p.m.
Mhm.
Because there's a correlation there between Grimace and at night.
Yeah.
That seems to
The
be the
Grimace
biggest issue.
sightings at night. Oh
Night
yeah,
is
they are
pretty
spiking.
egregious.
Oh yeah.
Um, there are there's not a limitation on Grimace beverages yet. However,
Everett,
however,
what are we
however,
doing here?
however, you need to have a buddy. You need to
Okay.
have a Grimace buddy in order
Okay.
to have the Grimace beverage.
Okay.
That's the buddy system.
Good.
If you leave your buddy unattended, there might be suspensions
Serious
incoming.
repercussions.
Yeah,
Serious repercussions. You cannot leave a teammate alone
it's
with Grimace on the prowl. You
it's
can't.
repercussions.
Yeah, sorry. I'm a little
Repercussions.
stupid myself, but there
Also,
are
just
gonna be
by the way,
serious consequences for your
you
actions.
you might want to give everybody context to what you're
Oh,
actually
I
talking
don't
about
need
here.
to. Oh, no, they know exactly what we're talking about right now. These gruesome murders, some of the most vicious and brutal crime scenes I've ever seen in my life. at the hands of
Is
Grimace.
is this on the level of the 2018 summer
Clown
clown
scale?
sightings?
Yes. Now, now this is a debate we can embrace. I would go so far to say it is worse. I would go so far to say it is worse. At least when the clowns were going on, they had that cool little dance. Like walked in this party, these girls looking at me, skinny jeans on. I kind of thought of the clown thing as a dance trend in a way. Found out that some of those were carrying around like meat cleavers and stuff. Slightly different from what I thought the initial joke was. However, Grimace is purely looking to just take your soul and just consume you whole.
Let's just say, like the
He's like
Grimace.
Vecna.
I
Yeah.
haven't watched Stranger Things, but
you know that
I do know
the
that. Yeah,
reference. That's all. That's all.
It is so brutal, by the way, that Grimace hasn't even been cited on camera
Oh,
for these events.
That's the most
That's
terrifying
how quick.
part.
And
We don't
he's
even
almost
know
like Santa Claus,
location.
dude. He's in every place at once. He hits
That's
multiple
even more
locations across
terrifying
the
now that you
country at
bring
the
it
same
up.
time.
No, it truly is Stranger Things. He has the little underground. He could pop up anywhere on Earth that he wants. It's quick underground tunnels for him.
Okay, he's a tunneler. That's where he's not in like his own upside down, the Grimace world. It's
Well, holy shit, Everett. You might have just made a groundbreaking discovery. The Grimace world. That's what we need to discover next. I think we should definitely get Millie Bobby Brown and Gaten Matarazzo on the call. I think they could probably sort this out, considering what they've done with Vecna. So I think we have the group. We have our Ghostbusters, our Grimace Busters right here for this scenario. We'll see if we
is
use
there any stopping Grimace though?
No.
What is McDonald's? McDonald's
ready.
has unleashed something horrific
Something
on the
bad,
world.
something terrifying. Dangerous.
All I want to say too, by the way, is the only time the
It's
McDonald's like ice cream McFlurry machines work.
That was another thing.
It's the Grimace.
So, okay, real talk. I have not tried this Grimace shake. I haven't been to McDonald's in a minute. Last time I went to McDonald's was literally with you when I wanted to get a McFlurry after sushi. Great combo, by the way, guys. McFlurry and sushi. Like, maybe they should work on some mixed sushi, like a mixed spicy tuna roll.
No.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Joke.
Please,
the fillet of fish is plenty of death. But back to topic. I've never had that Grimace shake. But from the
it's a death sentence. There's no reason for you to try it.
But real talk, in the 1 in 80 Grimace videos that are like actually reviewing the milkshake, what I've heard about McDonald's is that they're I would like to label them as their taste scientists. They're taste experts. What they've concluded, or what I've heard, is that they are only selling the Grimace thing in a meal because if you drink the shake after eating salty French fries, it will taste like berry Grimace like. But if you just drink the shake itself before eating salty foods in general, it'll just taste like a vanilla milkshake. That's what I've heard. I'm considering doing some sports science on it later, Everett. You let me know if you'd like to find that out. Because
I would like to find it out, but it's a question of, are you willing to take the risk?
Well, it is only 2:30 p.m. when we're recording this. I have another 3.5 hours to make it before, danger hours really sink in. So
it's spooky.
It's not off the table. There might be a Grimace milkshake review already up on the TikTok right now. So hey,
at Waterboy Pod.
At Waterboy Pod. We just had to discuss the vicious killings at the hands of Grimace. But yeah, without further ado, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the most important episode of the Waterboy podcast you will ever listen to in your life. Today is episode 129. We forgot to bring up, the NBA draft, pretty notable day before last episode.
Yeah, it's almost like you stated that.
I literally was like, I think it's coming up in like 2 weeks or so. Yeah, kind of a stupid thing to say for me, considering that free agency. I know that begins July 1st.
Because it also was literally, by the way, the day that we recorded. Obviously, that episode went up a day later, and the day we recorded it was the day of the draft, which we later found out shows you how tapped in we are with basketball. But also, just another thing to note, that also shows you how superior the NFL draft is.
That's another thing.
Oh my God, the NFL draft is way better.
I mean, it's a 3-day event. The first, just day one, that round one of the NFL draft probably takes 3 hours.
I
How long does
I
it?
was it's like 2.5, 3 hours, and it's like a whole event. That's the
Yes,
thing.
yes, yeah.
The NBA draft started at 7:30, and I went to bed. And I woke up at like 3 a.m. and I'm still getting Woj bombs from the second round. Like,
Breaking
how
news: the
long does
Pelicans
this
have
take?
traded pick number 58
Like,
for future. It's like, oh my god.
oh my god! Like, seriously, how long does the I don't understand that.
Now I
Like,
know that.
also,
Yeah, keep going, keep going.
like, you would think that they would want to split it up into 2 different days
Yeah,
to
you think
make
that's
money.
just
You
an
get bigger
easy
television
way
deals.
to get more. Once again, hey, that's why maybe we're not the commissioners of the NBA for a reason, Everett. Who knows? Maybe they have a master plan, or maybe they couldn't compete with like USFL on Friday night. Maybe they could only do it on Thursday. It's a tough competition beating out the USFL or XFL right now. So, there are a lot of things in the
Look,
works here.
I saw this point though on Twitter after the draft, but the reason why the NFL draft, outside of its whole setup with like the way that the days are situated and that it's a whole event kind of thing, the reason why the NFL draft is so much better is
Also, later
you
picks pan out.
you know all of the players.
Yes.
You recognize because they have been in college football for multiple seasons. It's a requirement in the NBA.
Yeah.
I think I knew all of 3 players, and one of them didn't even get drafted.
Actually, you know what? Now that you bring up this point, one thing that I thought was really crazy was the amount of G League players or like Ignite League or like I think the other one is overtime basketball, like the Thompson twins were there. I was shocked to see how many overseas guys who skipped out on college were going top 5, top 10, and top 15 and stuff. Where I don't know. I feel like if Scoot Henderson, the Thompson twins, if they were just in college, we would all just know their names. We'd be aware of them. At the minimum, you have heard of Grady Dick.
Yeah,
You've heard of him.
Everybody's heard of Grady Dick.
You've heard of that. Like there are multiple players. Like Jaime Jaquez was probably one of the more recognizable players of that draft, despite him not even ever being considered to be a lottery pick or top 10.
Never even thought he was going to be. I didn't know he was going to be.
I did not. I
pick.
was shocked when the Heat took him, but we'll get to my point on that in a sec. I'm just a little bit concerned about college basketball and the future of college basketball, seeing that, yeah, the NBA draft is showing you guys right now they do not care if you play in college or take a G League route or anything.
Like look, I understand, by the way, like if you're talented enough to come out of high school, I get it, because so much more money.
There's still the 1 year rule.
Yeah, it's the 1 year rule, whatever, right? I guess. So but technically meaning like high school, G League, then you go not doing college, right? Yeah. I understand that, but it just, honestly, from a league perspective, you would make so much more money as a league having there be a multiple year
like a
rule
2-day event, or
so that having their like
year rule
for players, because then if you have people that actually know the players, more people are actually going to tune into the draft because they're going to understand who's going. I think that's one of the biggest things with the NFL, because the NFL, obviously it's the NFL, so NFL reigns supreme, but you recognize, all of these guys who are going in the first round, and that makes it even more entertaining. Just sitting there like on your like edge of your seat trying to figure out who you're going to get, because you spent time, like these guys. But the NBA, the average viewer like me, I have zero idea outside of like 4 guys I saw during March Madness the prior year. And if you didn't play in March Madness, I have zero idea who you are.
That's another thing. Very funny. So Michigan had 2 lottery picks go, and they also had Hunter Dickinson still there last year, but they didn't make the tournament last year. And like to that point, I saw a bunch of Michigan fans out just like, I mean, how pathetic is Jalen Howard in this team that we had 2 lottery picks and Hunter Dickinson, we didn't make the tournament? Yeah. Like, how is that even possible if you had 2 NBA lottery picks and Hunter Dickinson? How do you not make the tournament? But regardless, I'm not here to crap on Michigan. We're going to save that for the college football segment, everyone. But yeah, I would say another thing that, maybe the Heat are ruining this a little bit because they had so many undrafted guys play well, but they are undrafted. I don't know. Maybe people are looking at the second round a little bit more closely, looking at it and caring about those late picks more, because yes, although on average, like if you go in the lottery, top 5, top 10, those are typically the guys that will continue playing in the NBA for years to come. Usually your second round pick won't. But after seeing Duncan Robinson, Caleb Martin, Gabe Vincent, seeing what they can do, essentially the Heat, yeah, like maybe the second round's taking a bit longer because people actually are like, wait, these guys actually could.
Well, there's also way more
I don't
picks
know.
in the second round. And the thing is, with the NBA draft in
What do
general,
you mean,
too,
way more picks?
I'm pretty sure there's more picks in the second round than the first round.
No,
Like
it's
overall,
30,
it's
30.
still
Yeah.
30.
Yeah, there's only 60 picks in that draft. It's like,
How the fuck did it
very
last
small.
until 2 a.m.? How
they
do
are
you?
taking their
It's 2 rounds.
sweet.
Is it like 15 minutes a pick in the second round? Like,
arguably the first round,
oh.
they got to like pick 25, like Lakers pick. There are still 10 minutes on the clock. I'm like, no, you don't get 10 minutes. No, you don't.
Like, also the
No,
thing
you
with the
don't.
NBA, is, I swear, obviously the NFL is a much higher, like there's much more rounds, but also there's going to be another round that they're adding the NFL draft. Now it's a
There's gonna be
compensation.
8th round.
It's the compensation, the
Okay,
compensatory round. It's its
Yeah.
own draft. But
oh, that draft. Oh, I only know that draft because that's how Terrell Pryor got drafted to the Raiders.
that's how Chris Carter got drafted as well.
Okay, yeah. Ohio State's not being eligible for the real draft. Have to go to the second one. No biggie.
But the NFL, just even the first round alone, I swear there is a much higher hit rate on all 32 of those picks than the NBA. And I don't know why that is, but I also think
it actually makes complete sense. Why?
I also think that goes to show you that it's arguably even better for the players to have multiple seasons in college or something before they have to enter the draft, because that gives way better credence to the teams and to them, the players themselves, to know what your skill level is.
I would say like the one way I like really think about is that NBA, there's on roster, there's only 15 players on the team and you can only have 12 active players a night enter the game. So let's make it 15, make it a little more fair. There's only 15 players on an NBA team and there's only 30 teams. That's 450 players. So only the 450 best players in the world are in the NBA. NFL, it's obviously a bit bigger. But another thing I'd say is like in the NBA, recently it's been a little skewed. Like we've seen like Jimmy Butler went last pick of the first round. We've seen him, like even like other guys, we've seen them pan out not being like a top 3 pick or a lottery pick.
No, there's been a lot of picks. Jamal Murray was, I'm pretty sure, a second rounder. Pascal Siakam, or he was a late first rounder.
I think Jamal Murray might have gone like 8.
No, he didn't.
Ooh.
I know for a fact.
I mean, we could. I mean,
I'm gonna check.
Was nice at Kentucky.
I'm gonna check.
Nice.
Pick 7.
Okay.
So you're right.
Like overall, though, I would say, like the Lakers were picking at pick 17. We got this guy from Indiana that I knew because I watched awful Big Ten basketball last year. I just think though, in the NBA, on average, there's probably only 5, maybe 10 prospects that could become an all-star, if even. Like there's only about like 5 or so.
But even in the NFL,
that, we've seen past class where there could be 20 first round.
That's 100%. That's 100% true. But the thing with I guess with other than, but with the NBA specifically though, you could have literally the entirety of the top 10 that's under like the first overall pick be complete busts. Then you can get the random 28th overall
the Giannis
pick
draft
is like it's literally all hit or miss in my opinion. The NBA draft is literally just a blind throw shit at the board and figure out what sticks.
Yeah, like I would also, there's that included. And also it's just like in the NFL, you can get very, very good guys in mid to late rounds. Like,
100%. But just looking at the first round, just individually 1-to-1, NFL to NBA.
NFL's
because
deeper.
That's
NFL's deeper.
100%. But like there's a specific amount of picks, I'm pretty sure, in both leagues where it's like they're like, okay, this is going to be a first rounder for sure, maybe borderline second rounder. There's like that select amount of players that like the 32 to 38.
Okay, actually, tell me if I think I'm picking up what you're. So like let me know if you think this is the right thought process. I would say there's only 30 first round picks in the NBA draft. There's only 32 first round NFL picks. I would say that there's a better chance of there being 40 to 45 first round NFL prospects than 30 first round NBA prospects.
Yes, I fully agree with that.
I would say on average, there's probably only like 15 first round NBA prospects, but there's just 30 picks in the first round.
I think I would say there's on average 15 first round prospects in the NBA. And out of that 15, there's probably only
five
like
of them, maybe that could be all-stars.
4 that can be all-stars. And then the rest of them
maybe
are probably
one of them can become like a Wembanyama.
Yeah, and the rest of them are pretty much key rotation players or depth or something like that, where you know you're going to get a good guy off the bench, but they're not going to be that all-star. And arguably, it's way harder to become an all-star in the NBA than in the NFL because of that.
Yeah, there's less all-star spots too. Like, it's just so hard. Also, okay, while we're on the topic of all-star games, and this is about to be coming up soon with the MLB, do you think it's bullshit that the MLB requires every team to have one all-star? Do you think that's bullshit?
It feels like a participation trophy.
Yeah.
I don't think it's bullshit because I think that every team kind of has that star player, and not every team's fan base really gives a shit.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. I know that if like who's a really outside of the A's, who's a terrible team that not really many people care about?
Like the Royals right now.
The Royals. I know the Royals the Royals fans will vote for Bobby Witt. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So I know that's it. But like, let's
say
might have
gotten that first all-star vote. I mean, actually, he definitely did not get that over like Bo Bichette. But yes, I get what you mean.
Let's say let's see. Okay, like Rockies fans. All right, Rockies fans, I know they're not voting. That's the thing. Rockies fans aren't voting. So that's when you get that compensation.
Could they possibly reason to be an all-star for that team?
Gomber. Gomber's pretty good.
The one name I immediately thought of was their third baseman, Ryan McMahon, who is just hitting Coors Field elevation home runs this year. Just getting elevation home runs. It's so funny. Like, he's hitting home runs where
CJ Cron.
Oh yeah, actually Cron Zone's actually he's 1000% in no matter what.
No. But like that's the point. Like, CJ is a player that deserves to be in it but wouldn't get it normally because of voting. Like that, because of fan voting, that makes sense to me. Yeah. But then there's other cases where they literally everybody on the team sucks and you're the A's and you shouldn't be
like last year,
and you need the Patriots to fly you out to get to the All-Star game.
If I have this correct, last year the A's, their All-Star player was pitcher Paul Blackburn. I need to pull up his stats.
Yeah, and he didn't. The A's
not an All-Star.
The A's didn't get him a plane to fly him out. So I think like the Angels or somebody, or the Patriots or somebody, had to fly out to go.
Yeah, last year he had a 4.3 ERA and a 1.3 WHIP. All-Star.
Like that is the case where it's kind of sucks, but I get it from the MLB's perspective. You're trying to generate revenue, fan interest.
Yeah, I
like, it makes sense. It makes sense, but that's also a situation where, like last year, and for whatever reason, TikTok decided to take this clip down from our account. But the Luis Arraez clip where I said he got absolutely robbed of
first
being an all-star, and that's one of those
got it over that fraud.
But that's one of those situations. Well, he was like technically he was a utility guy. I didn't have a specific. I think he was a technical.
No, I was saying like the big reason I'd say he didn't get it is because they had him listed as first baseman last year. It's like,
yeah, but like that's one of those situations where a player should get in and they don't get in.
Well, he got it this year. He got it.
I mean, if he didn't get it this year, we would have a large issue. But yeah, also with that note, I would just like to say I absolutely called it with him.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say this. I like, based off when we brought this up last time, I don't think you remember saying this, but I have a vivid memory of you last year saying that Arraez will hit 400 either this year or next year. And as of today, I mean,
let's 401.
Let's 401 today.
401 as of today, I'm pretty sure.
So, I mean, the odds of him finishing the year 400 are obviously going to be extremely hard and difficult, but the fact that we're
like 70 games in,
we're almost halfway done, and he has a 400 still, that's like truly one of the most unbelievable accomplishments that this sport has seen. Like, the last man to do it, to hit 400 season, was Ted Williams, and Ted Williams is like most famous for skipping 3 years of his MLB career to go fight for World War II and go overseas. Like
That's
that's
also how long
been.
ago it's been. All right. Hold on. So let's just get into the MLB at this point. Screw basketball. We're just into the MLB.
Just real quick, last thing I would say, Jaime Jaquez best pick of the draft. When he drops 25 in the Eastern Conference Finals this year, upcoming year, just remember this, guys. Remember this moment, because Jaime Jaquez is about to go on a stupid tear. Anyway.
Let's embrace debate. Would you rather have a 400 contact hitter or a power home run hitter? Because Luis Arraez only has 3 home runs on the season, but he's obviously batting 400. So would you rather have the contact hitter or somebody who's going to hit Aaron Judge amounts of home runs like last year?
So this is the thing. Okay. We've had this debate too much, but when it comes to the playoffs, I'm always thinking about the other teams have terrifying hitters that I'm holding my breath when they're at bat. And for us, God damn it, Trey Turner, I was not, from the perspective of an opponent, I was not afraid when Trey Turner was batting last year. But regardless, I always thought of it when I looked at like Acuna Braves, Freddie Freeman Braves, those teams, like those guys would hit doubles and they hit gappers. And I thought it all came down to slugging and getting those extra base hits, not necessarily to knock in runs, but leadoff inning. You're the first guy up. You lead off double there. Oh my God, the pressure is on. Now the pitcher, well, you got a runner in scoring position now, better lock it in. So I always thought it was slugging, but I recently watched Moneyball, Everett, and maybe this is a bad thing. Maybe this is a bad thing because we know how the A's are right now. But after watching Moneyball, and in complete honesty, it's not Billy Beane. It's not Brad Pitt who's the genius. It's Jonah Hill.
Yes.
Jonah Hill is the godfather of StatCast, statisticians, and everything. And I am now more on the side of the guy who gets on base. Like, if I could slightly modify the question, Everett, let's say this. You have 2 hitters. They both have an 1,000 OPS. One of them has a 400 on base and a 600 slugging. And one of them has a 600 on base and a 400 slugging. I think, although, like 400 slugging, that's not like phenomenal. I would take the 600 on base, lower slugging over the lower on base, higher slugging every single day of the week. Because at the end of the day, the pressure in the playoffs is obviously getting hits with runners unscoring.
Look,
that's
if you're asking me,
you need to get the guys on base first.
Whenever I'm watching Luis Arraez play, and we're going to use him specifically for this example, my expectation is he's getting on base. Yeah. Every time I see him at bat, I am like, he's getting a hit or he's getting walked. He is getting on base one way or the other. If I'm a pitcher and that's what I'm up against, especially in a playoff situation, I don't even know what to do, because if I have one guy on base, if I have a guy on second, I am just assuming at that point, at least as a fan, I'm assuming that the runner is getting in.
Well, that's another thing. So, everyone's talking about like, this is now back going against my argument about on base percentage. Tell me if you think this logic is correct, Everett, because like this is something that just doesn't make sense to me. In my opinion, your 3 hitter and your 4 hitter, their jobs are to score the runners. All right. Their job is to get RBIs. Now, in the past, I'm like, oh, you just put your best OPS batting 3rd and 4th. I think the number 3 and 4 hitters should be the highest batting average on the team, because, if you have runners in scoring position, on base percentage, good. But if you walk on base, that's not scoring the run. You have to hit the guy in.
So here's what do you think? Counter argument. I'm
open to opinions.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I think that is a very solid argument, but there are players that have a high batting average that are
yes. Course.
That don't really, they're not going to be getting you that runner in. They might get a single or something. So if I'm looking at it this way, I would much rather have somebody with a high batting average. So like say Luis Arraez, right? I'd rather have him bat 2 and get him on base, because I know he's going to get on base, and then have somebody who is more of a power hitter at 3 or 4, because I know that if I have Luis Arraez on second, let's say,
it takes a bloop and a blast.
just get a blast downfield, even if it's a sack fly, I can get him to third or I can get him in based off of that. And that's just a guaranteed go around. And then on top of that, if you go at the end of the lineup, the end of the order, right? And you have 8, 9, you get one of those guys on base and you still have a couple outs to play with. You have that contact hitter at 2. They're going to drive in those runs. Then they're set up. And then you have that power hitter coming up behind them to get them back in, even if it's with a sack fly. That's kind of what I think, by the way, with the Dodgers is obviously Freddie and Mookie both can hit some home runs, but with Will Smith coming in there at 3, that's kind of more of that setup to me because my expectation is Mookie and Freddie will kind of get on base, and Will Smith's whole role is to power hit the ball, get it deep to try and get Mookie back in.
Yeah, I would say another thing, like this is going back to last year, and I hate to live in the past, but something that just like when I think of leadoff hitter, my first thought, and this year it's a little boosted in my mind with the extra stolen bases and the bag size increase, very low key. While we're on that topic, have you seen how much stolen bases are up this year? Like they legitimately,
it is very high.
A 33% just base area increase, like legitimately revolutionized steal. Like it literally changed the game, and like it is like it did make a major difference. I didn't think it was going to be that big of a deal, but it is. But regardless, I thought last year when our top 4 hitters, Trey, Mookie, Freddie, Will Smith, I thought to myself, for my leadoff hitter, why are we having Mookie bat leadoff? I think Trey should be batting leadoff because when he does get on, he's literally a top 5 fastest man in MLB. He can swipe bags, which was another thing. We didn't have Trey Turner stealing much when he was on the Dodgers, which is arguably, better fastball hitter, but that's one of his top 3 attributes he can bring to your team as a player, turning walks and singles into doubles. Like that is a very, very big thing. Being able to just get a free second base.
And I mean, this year, Mookie's been pretty good about it this year outside of a game or two. So
he's been on fire. Like the leadoff home runs for Mook have just been
well, even stealing bases too, though. That's more so what I'm saying.
And Freddie's been stealing bases too. It's been
what I do. I know we're getting off of the subject that you just brought up.
That's fine.
Which is fine. But the thing that I do like to see, and we will get more specifically into the Dodgers here, is bullpen's been pretty good as of late. I'm going to knock on some wood for that. But Will Smith has stepped up monumentally in clutch moments this entire season. And this is why exactly we've talked about this before. Will Smith needs to end up, I mean, once we get through arbitration and everything, and Cartaya can come up, Will Smith needs to be on a long-term contract to be the DH of the Dodgers.
I'm saying that. I was also thinking, Muncy, I mean, he's had a better year this year, but I mean, it's not like it's the easiest thing to just pick up a position, but like, let's have Will Smith play a little bit of third.
I was going to say you can have Will Smith rotate in with Freddie at first.
Well, yeah, I mean, we could do that long term. It's
because,
just like,
either way,
Freddie fielding it. I just like having
either way. Catchers, when you move them from their positions, where do they normally play, first or third? So it's going to be one of those two outside of DH. But like when I say DH, he's obviously going to end up getting playing time at one of those two positions. It's just a matter.
My only we've been bringing up a lot. Like I'd rather have him DHing so we can have him in the lineup every day, which is obviously the goal. He is one of the best hitters on our team. He needs to be hitting every day. But also at the same time, like with Will Smith, I don't know. I feel like I do feel like it's best for him to just get off catcher primarily because of the like it's so hard to get a good catching prospect, and we have 2 in Cartaya and Dalton Rushing. So
yeah, and on top of that, by the way, when you're Will Smith is like 6'4", 6'5".
Oh, so, no, not that big. No.
He's pretty tall.
Dills, I think he's like 6'1". Let me check.
Will Smith.
I just Googled Will Smith and the more famous Will Smith popped up first.
Hey, both of them reside in Los Angeles, so at least there's that. Still, it'd be funny to have a Will Smith movie played by Will Smith. Will Smith Inception.
Yeah, I think I think Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Will Smith would absolutely kill it playing for the catcher Will Smith. But yeah, our guy Will Smith, Everett, he's 5'10", big
Oh,
dose.
okay.
Yeah, no,
He looks taller, at least on screen. Because the way I'm thinking about it is Joe Mauer. Joe Mauer was such a tall player that they had to move him because he had back issues and knee issues.
We're not going to get into this, but we will be bringing up Joe Mauer's high school football stats one day because it is one of the craziest things.
Oh, it's disgusting.
One of the craziest things.
It's disgusting.
I remember one time we were in Minneapolis.
We drove past college,
and we drove by his high school stadium, and it's still called Joe Mauer Stadium.
We parked to get out to get food, and the stadium that next to where we parked says Joe Mauer Stadium.
It's high school, and it's very sick, very nice.
Imagine getting a whole stadium named after yourself, and that happened.
But also
that happened. I'm pretty sure.
You better be getting that shit named after.
But I'm pretty sure that happened when he was playing college ball.
Now, did he go to Florida State?
No, he was in Minnesota. He's a Minnesota native.
Okay. I don't know what. Oh, it was Buster Posey went to Florida State. Oh, fuck that guy. But yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Also, the last thing I want to note about the MLB, and then I've got a quick thing before we go into college football. I think the biggest thing just in the lineup the Dodgers are missing is a pure contact hitter. The guy that you're expected to get on base. We're not looking for power. That's kind of the thing that I think Vargas can develop into.
I was about to fucking say Vargas was the guy where I was like, you know what? One day, Vargas, I want him to be that leadoff, that two hitter, just set the table.
See, that's the thing. I think Vargas is
not today. Fucking
but Vargas. I'm still obviously I'm a Luis Arraez truther, but that's kind of the player that I want him to develop into, where your expectation is either walked or he's getting on base. And I don't care if he's I don't need him to bat 400, but I need him to bat like 300, and I need him to get singles and doubles. I don't care about the home runs.
Yeah, I'll be honest. The part of me is now thinking, like, when I think of recent top Dodger prospects, every guy who was touted to be our next thing, like, as kind of struggled due to, like, Vargas was touted as like the next big thing. He's
to be fair,
ups and downs, like Jock and Belly were the same way.
To be fair too, though, Gavin Lux.
Oh, dude, when he's Fox was on last year. God,
when he's healthy, he can he has power, but he also can be that contact guy.
It was this time last year where Gavin Lux was literally ripping like a 350 batting average
and
for June.
Batting 9 for whatever reason.
Yeah, and like when it comes to that, like the whole like order and stuff, you know, I can understand like start of the year, like, yeah, let's leave Outman and stuff at the bottom of the order. Like something might just be weird if we move them up. I'm not saying doing it now, but I was thinking early season, you know, why not try slotting Outman into that 5 slot?
I mean, look, if you take the batting lineup, if you have the lineup right now, that is currently the current day lineup, and you just slide in Gavin Lux instead of Miguel Rojas.
Oh my God.
That's a great lineup. That is a fantastic lineup.
You know, like okay. I'm not trying to be the Debbie Downer here because I'm going to give Miguel Rojas slight props because
he's been good. He's been good lately.
He's amazing shortstop. But the one thing I could like, I'm just going back to Seager's last days with the Dodgers. I remember it was the NLCS against the Braves. I remember he made an error, and I remember turning to my brother saying, "I never want to see Corey Seager standing in between third and second base for the Dodgers ever again. I'm done with this bullshit." And Lux had a handful of those moments last year. Trey Turner also had his fair share of just what the hell moments. So, you know, Rojas, I'll give you some props because there are some hits that should no way ever be outs, and he's making those outs. So yeah. However, it doesn't help that he has like, I don't know, 4 RBIs this year. That doesn't help. But yeah, overall, baseball, you know, Dodgers are just messing with our emotions and feelings. The bullpen's now getting hot. Bobby Miller's now been rocked in back-to-back starts. Everything is just up in the air.
What's his ERA now?
A 4.3.
Oh.
Yeah. It took a turn. So
it's okay. We still said I still would rather have him have a 4.3 right now than get his ass rocked at the start of next year. I still think keep him up.
It's been a tough time, but hey, good news. Julio Urias looked good. He had a little rehab start.
But that's also as Dodgers fans, we typically are very negative about these things. I would like to say I actually think Bobby having a 4.3 right now is to his benefit.
All right, spinball me this one. Okay.
So I think that
open.
I think that obviously he started off really hot, right?
Probably
really
the
hot.
Greatest start you could ask for.
But in any situation with any rookie, especially pitchers, you are bound at some point to get your shit wrong. You're gonna get figured out. People are now studying film. They have stuff to look off of. You've played them before now. If he's played the same teams since he's been in the league.
Yeah.
So now as Bobby Miller, you're forced to adapt and change what you call, what pitches you throw, all this stuff, what you practice in order to actually be a great MLB pitcher. So at this point in time, this is basically forcing him to rethink, reprocess, and relearn different skills in order to get better. And being able to do it now in the middle of the season in comparison to either getting called up and doing it next season or getting sent down, I think is way better for him to be able to just figure it out than and for his confidence too, and for his future, than not be able to figure it out and not be able to put things together. Because not having any adversity at all, which obviously would mean he's the greatest, probably would be the greatest pitcher of all time if he didn't have any adversity. But being able to have adversity allows you to learn different things, and that's kind of like the key.
I'm with that. Bit of some some bumps in the learning road right now for him.
Okay, real quick before we get into college football, just wanted to bring this up, and I think it might be one of the most important things that we bring up this episode. There's a fight on the horizon.
No, okay, all right.
There's a fight on the horizon. Might be one of the most viewed fights of all time.
Okay.
Mark Zuckerberg versus Elon Musk.
Now I'm very interested
pay-per-view fight.
How this exactly tied into college football, but
it doesn't. I just said before. It has nothing to do with college football. Absolutely nothing.
If I had this correct, I don't have the tweet in front of me. I'm going off memory. I believe Elon Musk said, and I quote, "I'll knock your ass out, Jeff Bezos." I think.
He just took a random shot at Jeff. He just took random shots at Jeff Bezos after this whole thing with Mark Zuckerberg was like here's with Mark Zuckerberg, not with Bezos.
Oh, I also saw him beefing Bezos.
He also beefed with Bezos.
Oh, okay. So
he's just beefing with every millionaire, trillionaire right now.
One thing that I found funny was that I saw that Musk, he was beefing Bezos, and he called out Bezos saying, "Your wife drives a Tesla," to which the internet researchers looked up and found out that she does not drive a Tesla. That was a lie, in fact. And so Elon Musk, I mean, pretty believable. Like, you could just say they drive a Tesla. And the odds are you'll be like, yeah, probably. But yeah, I just had to call out Elon on that. That's not true. Bezos's wife does not.
I also just want to say, if this fight does really happen, I'm expecting Mark Zuckerberg to be like minus 500.
Well, this is something I found out. Dana White, probably trolling, but Dana White said, like, no,
they're dead serious.
We are seriously trying to.
They are literally. I have it in front of me, and it says that Dana White spoke with both Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg, and they said that their cage fight they're dead serious about doing it.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but Zuckerberg's doing jujitsu, right? Or is that another one?
No, that's Zuckerberg.
Okay, so literally just based off that, Elon, you actually have no chance.
He actually might get pulled out on a stretcher. It's bad.
I'm going to assume Mark Zuckerberg is a good jujitsu Padawan, and he will not choke him out to extremities, It's
Mark Zuckerberg. I don't know if he cares.
No, that's what
it's Mark.
We all saw The Social Network. We know what Jesse Eisenberg did to Andrew Garfield, and we know that Zuck will do it again. So he will phase you out literally of everything you have.
Also, just want to say, it says pay-per-view would cost about $100 and all proceeds would go to charity. I think that is probably one of the best PR moves.
Oh, they have to do that. Now, if they didn't donate that, well,
That's one of the best moves physically possible. If you're like, yeah, Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg are gonna pocket the money, and
Yeah,
they're
no,
already
I'll be honest. I
billionaires.
do not buy UFC pay-per-views or whatnot. But
I
if that happened, I would definitely consider getting a group of guys together to split it. 100%.
Oh yeah,
You know,
100%.
100%.
100%.
You know, that one, I can't bootleg live stream that. I need the official reels. I need the official broadcast for that fight. You know, cannot bootleg that one. So that one would be exhilarating. I would go so far to say would be the biggest fight ever.
Oh, 100%, which is saying a lot.
You know, and it would be the greatest thing for the UFC. Greatest thing for them if that actually were to happen.
Should get, you know how they have the celebrity golf tournaments that they come up with every year?
Yeah.
They should have the coaches. They should have
boxing.
that. Well, they kind of already have that. They have like the YouTuber fights,
Yeah.
but they should have Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk also both get a UFC fighter as their coach. Like one of them gets McGregor and one of them gets like Khabib or some shit.
Yeah, no, I would love to see Nate Diaz just like telling Zuckerberg how to
John
fight.
Jones.
Yeah, John Jones would be hilarious. Like Chael Sonnen would be excellent, or like Khabib. You can like,
oh my god,
he's literally rip his neck off. Zuckerberg's like, what, dude? Like, oh my god.
Okay, let's get into the
college
NFL
football. Some
or,
college
sorry, yeah,
football.
That's what I meant. Yeah.
So bit of a big recruiting weekend. A lot of official visits going down. Ohio State landed commitments from 4-star cornerback Bryce West and his high school teammate, 4-star tight end Demarion Witten from Glenville. We briefly mentioned this last time, but I didn't give Glenville enough respect. The list of NFL players to go to Glenville that you would recognize, Everett, is the famous Cardale Jones, Marshawn Lattimore, Frank Clark went to Glenville, and Michigan, by the way, which is disgusting that we passed on Frank Clark. And Troy Smith, the last Heisman winner for Ohio State, and I would also go so far as say the only Big Ten Heisman winner of the 21st century. And
Joe Burrow.
Thank you for that. First, but second Ohio State Heisman winner or Big Ten winner of this century. And the last guy I'm blanking. Oh yeah, Ted Ginn Jr. So yeah, they're an NFL hotline pipeline. We just landed their 2 top commits to Ohio State. Everett, as of today, as of Monday, June 26th, Ohio State has jumped back over Michigan. They currently have the number 2 recruiting class in the country, despite having 7 less commits than Michigan. Ohio State has 16. Michigan has 23. Michigan only has 2 spots left in their class to fill.
It honestly seems to me that unless Michigan pulls another 5-star recruit, they're probably going to be
even if
behind
they
Ohio
do,
State.
They're still going to be Ohio State. We got 9 more spots, and I guarantee at least 6 of them will be 4 stars.
The only concern is there might be some flipping going on, which tends to happen at least with Ohio State.
Oh, trust me, I'm well aware of that recently, and it's honestly propelled up even more right now with the negative recruiting going on with Ohio State's position coaches. So obviously decommits are very possible. And this year, there's some Ohio State fans out there, some optimistic ones thinking we can flip some guys to Ohio State. I don't see many big flip targets for us right now. So I would say number 1 goal right now is keep what we have and then go get Aaron Scott. But this is what I want to bring up, Everett, specifically about these 2 players. So I'm very hyped on the Bryce West commit. He was the one floating between Michigan and Ohio State. That one was getting a little too close for comfort, in my opinion, for how interested he looked at Michigan. But the Demarion Witten tight end recruitment was 10 times more interesting to me, even though Michigan wasn't involved in that battle at all. So Witten's recruitment came down to Ohio State and Kentucky. And this is what Kentucky's tight end coach, and he is also their recruiting coordinator and associate head coach. This is what their tight end coach had to tweet after missing out on Witten. Quote, "I got the target I wanted. This is SEC ball, and we got, and he meant to say and, we got and SEC grown man." He spelled grown incorrectly as well. Go Big Blue.
Dodged a bullet with that one.
everybody in the replies there were just all Ohio State fans, just like LMAO, you mad, LMAO, salty, stuff like that. But what I think is actually kind of disgusting, embarrassing, and pathetic is that there is nobody on the Kentucky staff that has told him to delete that tweet. Kentucky stands by their recruiting coordinator going out saying, oh yeah, I just missed on a recruit. I didn't even want him anyway. He sucks. He's not even built out for the SEC. How are you approving that and letting that happen? You cannot go out and publicly say that after missing on a recruit. I mean, he was trash. He couldn't even play SEC ball anyway. He's not a grown man. What message does that send to future recruits about what he really thinks about you? What does that say? I don't know.
It's just salty. It's just salty. And I mean, literally, like if I was you said he was the
tight end coach, recruiting coordinator, and associate head coach.
Yeah,
those are big titles to have.
If I was your athletics director, I'd be having a word or two.
But that's the screwed up part, is that their athletic director probably supports that type of behavior. And
yeah, on the outside, on the inside, he's probably like, dude,
I don't know though. Fuck? I don't know. Like, I would assume if this,
you would hope,
I would assume he would make him take this down by now, but he hasn't. So
I don't know. It's Kentucky football. Like, what? Yeah. Like, come on.
Yeah, that's it's Kentucky football, guys. What are we talking
about? Okay. The only other thing that I had for college football, and I want your opinion on this, is this came out a couple of days ago in between episodes. LSU has received a 3-year probation as part of an ongoing investigation that's centered around their basketball team. There's been no postseason ban, so I don't really know what the probation is on.
Maybe a scholarship limit?
And it is due to an FBI investigation into Will Wade and the Tigers.
An FBI
investigation. And by the way, this started off with their basketball team, but now the football team has been roped in. I'm going to try and find out a little bit more of the details on this, but
well, the one thing I think about recently about LSU basketball is I believe 2 years ago or so, they had a ton of really, really top end high school recruits. I think they had like 3 5-stars on their team. That might be involved with it. How did those guys pick LSU? Maybe Ben Simmons is involved in this. Who knows?
This is what it says, at least for the football. For the first part, is some of the issues in the football program include a level 2 violation for Odell Beckham Jr. handing out cash after the national championship game. Impermissible contact with the recruit by Ed Orgeron, or why is it Orgeron? It's all self-imposed sanctions, but I'm just kind of curious how John Harbaugh gets obliterated for getting a burger with a recruit.
Yeah, let's just say, Everett, if Ohio State did this, Everett, oh my God, Everett, could you imagine? Everett,
if the FBI was investigating Ohio
publicly
State,
execute Chase Young for repaying a $500 loan. They wanted him publicly executed on the stage.
If the FBI was investigating Ohio State, I think Ohio State might actually be banned from playing football for like 5 years.
We'd get death penalty times 5. Yeah, literally a 5-year ban. Oh, yeah. You think the SMU death penalty was bad? If Ohio State did that, oh my God, we would not be a school anymore.
Shout out SMU death penalty award, Waterboy Awards.
It's just you hear stuff like that, and to be honest, I mean, the violations are stupid. But
no, they 100%.
But well, I did read one thing that they paid a player's family $185,000 over a 4-year span, and that athlete played from 2012 to 2016 on LSU, which at that time, that might have been Leonard Fournette. Like it might have been Leonard Fournette. I'm trying to think who would be 2012, 2016 LSU. Might have been him. But if it came out that Ohio State paid somebody associated with one of their recruits $186,000, Everett, oh my God.
That's game.
Oh my
game
God,
over.
Everett.
SGG.
We would be murdered, ransacked, absolutely destroyed. Yeah, hey, but SEC, it just means more. At the end of the day, if you're not cheating, you're not trying, folks. So, yeah. All right, Everett. NFL time?
NFL time. We have, there's honestly not much news currently in the NFL. It's kind of the dead zone.
Not much.
The biggest news that's kind of come out was the Jets are apparently being forced into
doing Hard Knocks.
Which I'm on. I honestly, Aaron Rodgers on Hard Knocks. Yes, please.
Yes,
give me that. I absolutely love that idea. But honestly, there's not really that much going on. I have 2 lists today. And I think it can be a debate. And also, I do have a game for us to play if we want to use that today. Otherwise, we can save it for another episode. Just depends on what you're feeling. But we can start with the list, and we can go from there. We can see if there's any debates going on, raging debates.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna start with the most overhyped players in the NFL. 10-1. Here we go. Honorable mention: Najee Harris, Mark Andrews, Josh Allen, Geno Smith, Dak Prescott, Daniel Jones, Jalen Ramsey, Tremaine Edmonds, Patrick Peterson, Jamal Adams, and Kyler Murray. And it's 10-1, by the way. Kyler Murray's number 1.
Okay.
I wanted to fit Najee Harris on the actual list because I think he sucks nuts.
I used to work for a guy who was a Steelers fan. I'm well aware of Pittsburgh's opinion on Najee Harris,
but I also think that everybody kind of thinks he also sucks nuts.
I'm proud of you for no Lattimore in there. That took a lot of strength for you.
I don't think Lattimore is over. That's the thing. Like general consensus, I think everybody's pretty. I don't like him, but I think everybody's pretty consensusly like he's not. He's above average, but he's not like the guy anymore. I think that everybody is. I'm
not saying he's like a top 5 cornerback in the league or anything.
No, that's what I'm saying. Though everybody's kind of consensusly that he's like
he's still I'd say
no, he's still very good.
Pretty disrespectful.
I'm just not saying that he's like he's an elite corner. I'm just not saying that he's number 1.
He's a very good corner.
I think that everybody, it's just kind of like where are people conflicted? What opinions are people more conflicted on? Where people think that somebody's really great and some people think that he's really bad. That's when we kind of get into all these players or their production just is not worth what their contract is, i.e. Kyler Murray, where he's making $500 million, whatever, and he's just not putting up numbers. He hasn't had a 4,000-yard season yet. But also like with Geno Smith, great last year, but it's only 1 season. Like, I don't think that you can be like, oh my God, he's a top 10 quarterback or whatever. He's going to be the next the second coming of like Kurt Warner coming on late in his career. Like, I don't think that that's really fair.
Have people been saying that?
No, but the way that people are talking about him makes him seem like he is one of the best quarterbacks. Like, season is not indicative of.
I'll keep putting on.
I think that he's a good quarterback right now, but I just think that people are making him seem way better
than above average.
I think that he's average.
Okay, well, I'm okay with that, but this is my question. Geno Smith, if he is average, then I would say there's a ton of quarterbacks that are pretty lumped in with Geno Smith.
I think the quarterbacks are lumped in, but
they're all like is Dak. I mean,
Dak is average.
Dak is average. Like, how about I was about to say like a Taylor Heineke, but I would say that's disrespectful to Geno Smith and Dak to put Taylor Heineke.
I mean, if we're gonna be completely honest, Taylor Heineke is probably below average quarterback, but he's just the hype man. He confuses energy.
That if he's average and I'd slot him in at 10, but let's say he's in that 10 to 15 range.
I'd put him at like 14.
With that thinking though, I would say that there is, 10, not even, I guess, 8 quarterbacks I considered good. And I guess 10 to 12 that I would say are average.
I would say that the tiers are probably, you have like the elite, then you have
the Mahomes tier.
Yeah. Then you have like the good or the great. Then you have the above average and then average.
I would say in that above average category, it's not that great. I'd say there might be.
I just think
I
I just personally think that people are the only reason I say people are overhyping Geno Smith is because of the fact that he had one good season and people are throwing him up above quarterbacks that have been have been good and consistent for years, and that his stats are very indicative of what they have done. For reference, and obviously I'm a little bit biased, but with Kirk Cousins, right? Kirk Cousins has been very consistent, been very, I would say he's been above average for the last couple of seasons, especially with the Vikings. And people are like yourself are throwing Geno Smith up above him when they had very similar stats last season. I don't really think that's fair to say that, Geno Smith is obviously the better quarterback only with one season of experience. Like when you see something consistently, then I think it's fair to say, but after 1 year, we could have something where it's a Case Keenum-like season where Case Keenum came on for the Vikings, was one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL that season, and then he went and played for the Broncos and was terrible. Well, and I love myself. Actually, I love myself some Case Keenum.
Going back to when we were doing many top 10s, I remember one time I was like, so for this top 10, what are you saying? Just like going into next year, like overall, like a little summary. I remember you looking at me essentially like I was a dumbass, like, duh, I'm obviously talking about just next year based off last season. So with that logic, yeah, Geno Smith's top 10. Like that, this is where I'm slightly.
Are you saying entering next year
for some
with
of
that
your top
logic
10
that
lists, like I feel like right now this obviously is a slight different top 10 list, but I'm slightly confused as to why, there have been some past arguments where you're like, well, we're just basing off last season, but why does Geno Smith not get that? Why is now Geno Smith? Well, he only did it for one season last year.
It's because of when we're talking about all the other lists and we're basing it off of, we're like, okay, like it's for this next season based on last season. It's by precedence. And a lot of those players have precedence where going into last season, they were already expected to do something and they did better or worse based off of that. So we're using last season's stats and comparing it to what they've done. With Geno Smith, there's no precedence for what he's done. And I'm not knocking Geno Smith. Like, I think that he had a great season last year, and hopefully he's going to have a great season this year. And I am pulling for him, but I do think that based off of that, it's not really fair to be like he is a top quarterback when you only have 1 year of experience to prove this. Because like whenever you're proving something in general,
yeah, no, I'm gonna let the 1 year stat stand. I'm not going to bring up his first year as a starter in the NFL, even though he somehow went 8-8.
It was the Jets.
How the hell did Geno Smith take the 2013 Jets to 8-8? I'm not trying to give him props
I
here.
think he had Brandon Marshall, Eric Decker.
Yeah,
he had
like
Brandon
what
Marshall,
the hell?
Eric Decker that year, and Matt Forte was probably on that team too.
Anyway,
their defense was great that year too.
I'm slightly disgusted with myself how much I'm like putting on for the Seahawks right now. But like,
no, but like, if you
I was so impressed with just Geno.
I trust me.
No fucking Smith did that.
I mean, look, I was impressed too. They wrote me off, but I didn't write back. Like, I love that.
Well.
I love the whole story.
I may or may not bet on the Seahawks week 1.
I am happy that he played well last year, and I'm pulling for him for next year. But I just don't think that it is fair to state that he is a top 10 quarterback with 1 year of experience. That's the same thing. Like you would not have put like if a rookie last season played like in their first year, right? And they were pretty good. They maybe posted a little bit better stats. Would you put them in the top 10 of quarterbacks? Probably not.
Yeah, I'd say probably.
That's kind of the same point. That's the way that I'm looking at it, is disregard everything that has happened for Geno Smith before I'd say this.
Quarterback's weird. Yeah, quarterback I can't really. And well, listen, like shit. I know Garrett Wilson is today a top 10 receiver in the NFL. Oh yeah, will I get crucified for saying that online? Yes. I know it's true though. It's okay. And Justin Jefferson was a top 3 receiver entering his second season. And I bet if we look back at the list, Justin Jefferson maybe got some shots at like 8 through 10 going into his second year. But
like people, especially people with bias, can be like who obviously watch the Seahawks and be like, no, like I know more than you. He is a top 10, and that might be like with a rookie receiver and whatever else. Like for the Vikings, obviously, I'd say the same thing with Justin Jefferson. So it's a give or take. But I think with Geno Smith, it's a little bit of a weird category because he's been in the league for so long. He's been non-productive until this past season. So there, you just never know with older quarterbacks too. Like I said with a Case Keenum, with a Nick Foles, like you just don't know. And that's the only reason I don't think that there's not enough evidence and whatnot to just be able to be like he is a top 10 quarterback. I don't like it.
All right. While we're on the topic of some quarterback debates, I saw just a very interesting quarterback post kind of go viral over the weekend. Somebody threw up their top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL right now, and there was one beautiful man who used to be captain of his high school fishing club that was not in that top 10 list. Justin Herbert was not in this man's list, and his reasoning was, well, what has Justin Herbert done in the playoffs? He's never done anything in the playoffs, which true. He hasn't. But also at the same time, I think people are putting just a lot of emphasis on postseason results when, I don't know, Everett, feel free to call me crazy, but I feel like on average, yes, the quarterback influences the game the most, but it's usually the team with the better overall team that wins, not just the better quarterback. It's not, wins are not a quarterback stat, is what I'm getting at here. But for a lot of people out there are saying, well, Trevor Lawrence is better than Herbert. Duh, he beat him in a playoff game, obviously.
I mean, that was a whole.
I'm seeing a healthy subsection of Jacksonville fans saying, well, to be fair, Trevor Lawrence threw 4 picks in that game and still won. For any other quarterback, they get ruined for that.
I also think that when it comes to those things, quarterbacks get, obviously in the second half, Justin Herbert, the offense was stagnant, and that's partially on him. The defense absolutely blew that game.
The defense was so bad. I mean,
a lot of people blame quarterbacks for the entirety of the game. And I understand that they're the most valuable position in the entirety of the team, but it's not a one-man game. The game is not decided by one player.
I'm on your side here 100%. One thing that I will say that I was slightly just disappointed in Herbert with the second half of that Jacksonville game is that, like, if we just got 2 more first downs, we win. And it's I didn't need them to score. It's just like, Herbert, I need you to pick up this 3rd and 3, man. I need you to do it. And
was Herbert playing injured that game too?
Yeah. Well,
that was the ribs, right?
Well, the ribs were from week 2 the whole season, but he tore his non-throwing shoulder labrum, whatever the hell. He tore it before week 18. And remember, Everett, we had the 5 seed clinched up going into week 18.
That's right.
There was 0 reason to play week 18. And Brandon Staley trotted out his quarterback who had recently torn his non-throwing rotator cuff, whatever the hell, shoulder labrum. So there's that too. We literally trotted out our no-ribbed, one-armed quarterback out there in a meaningless football game. So nice.
Also, the quarterback of your future, by the way. Let's just put it that way. There's no safety precautions
for this franchise. Which, I mean, it's nice to have a quarterback. Don't get me wrong. I'm not taking that for granted, but we need to protect him at all costs. I'd say that, and it kind of hurt that I'm pretty sure Mike Williams and Keenan Allen played 3 games together last year while they were both playing.
I mean, hopefully they're both going to be healthy next season, but that's just
okay. Crossed. And no Slater. We didn't have time to throw.
Let's finish up here with the quarterback tight end duos list. I saw so many people commenting on the wide receiver list that Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes should be on there. I now have to do the own list.
I'll be honest, if it is just a quarterback receiver duo list, Mahomes and Kelce are the firm one. Firm by far.
Yeah. Overall receiver, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes. But
even though I think Travis Kelce is a top 5 most hateable player in the NFL now, he's broken into it for me.
Yeah. And that can be its own list. I don't know if we've done that. Most disliked players.
Did it.
Most disliked players.
I think we recently did it. I think we did.
I don't know. We might have been making it.
Pretty positive, but we could go.
Well, we can go in post. All right, top 10 quarterback tight end duos. We'll go 10-1. Okay, here we go. Kenny Pickett and Pat Freiermuth, Matt Stafford and Tyler Higbee, Justin Herbert and Gerald Everett, Deshaun Watson and David Njoku, Brock Purdy and George Kittle, Jalen Hurts and Dallas Goedert, Trevor Lawrence and Evan Ingram, Kirk Cousins and TJ Hawkinson, Lamar Jackson and Mark Andrews, and Patrick Mahomes and and Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce.
I think I would throw who'd you say right before T-Law and Ingram?
Jalen Hurts and Dallas Goedert.
I think I'd toss him over Ingram.
I think Evan Ingram's a better tight end than Dallas Goedert, and while Jalen Hurts is a better quarterback than Trevor Lawrence is still an elite quarterback. So I just think that the discrepancy there.
I like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Dallas Goedert was like hurt for a healthy portion last year. 12 games, 700 yards. I just remember Goddard in fantasy was.
But Evan Ingram was absolutely disgusting last year, though.
Yeah, Evan Ingram was very good too, and also I know a healthy amount of Giants fans, and so let's just say what I thought was the truth about Evan Ingram has been completely rewritten. So there's that too.
Also, to be fair, like within the Eagles' offense, I can't say that the quarterback tight end connection is like a primary.
I would actually say, I would like surprisingly say for that offense, like Dallas Goedert's role is like very important there for just picking up quick yardage and RPOs.
Well, yeah.
Like,
look, if in post you want to, if you want to go and put them up above Trevor Lawrence and Evan Ingram, it's fine by me. You have my blessing. But overall, I think that the biggest debate is 1, Brock Purdy and George Kittle at 6. And 2 is Kenny Pickett and Pat Freiermuth at 10.
I'm totally fine with Freiermuth. Freiermuth is a dog.
Kenny Pickett just sucks.
No.
Kenny Pickett just sucks.
I know. I know.
That's the issue at hand.
I know. No, not debating, not fighting you on that aspect. But Pat Freiermuth, I like him a lot. I like Freiermuth a lot. You know, that's just a gritty first one and last one out type of guy.
100%, yeah.
Just a scrappy, hardworking gym rat, you know? That's the type of player I want on my team. But yeah, you know, interesting looks right out. The tight end world, you know, tight end U also recently going on. I'm pretty sure Trey McKitty got out there. Gerald Everett was not in attendance. Missed out on a nice little clinic there, Gerald. I don't know what the fuck we were doing there.
Yeah, my only other thing was at 10, I was debating Geno Smith and Noah Fant, but I don't think Noah Fant's all that great.
I don't think Noah Fant. I'm not sure if he's quite that NFL tight end people are looking at. I know he's like, I think he might be the most athletic tight end ever, like testing wise.
Kyle Pitts.
On that. Oh, well, he's a slot receiver, but yes, Kyle Pitts.
Also, this goes to show you,
Pitts didn't make the list.
Yeah. I mean, even if he was fantastic, I don't know if he would, because Desmond Ridder is in this first year at quarterbacks. We just don't know. But it goes to show you, Kyle Pitts was what, like the 4th, 5th? So he was a top 10 pick.
I low-key think he went like 8,
top 5, right?
Or 7. Was it top?
It might have been top 5. I don't remember.
Oh my!
I don't remember what pick they had.
I'm looking up. Oh my! He went 4.
Yeah. So I really hope that he does not end up on our biggest busts list in a year or two.
The first year he put up 1,000 yards.
He did. The last year was terrible. And
trust me, I know that was.
I had him as well.
My round 3 pick. The round 5 curse moved up 2 rounds. That's how bad it was. Like, who knows? We'll see.
It's just if the Falcons manage to blow the potential of,
which is really like more likely than not, but
if the Falcons manage to blow the potential of the arguably greatest tight end prospect of all time,
other than their other great tight end Tony Gonzalez,
the Falcons would have to be in the top 5 of the most dysfunctional franchises of all time.
Yeah,
and we kept them out. We kept them out somehow. We kept them out of the list.
I actually went up to
you. Argued for them.
How the hell did they not make it?
You argued for them, and I argued back that they shouldn't be on there. But if you blow Kyle Pitts' career, you will be on the list.
You know,
you'll be making my list.
Like, I would also say something. You know, Everett, I think we should debate this next time. in redraft fantasy leagues, I think Bijan Robinson should go top 5. I think
he's currently going number 3 over on average.
Okay. So that wasn't crazy for me to say.
No.
Like, I think Bijan next year is going to be
I think that one of our friends who we'll both know who I'm talking about, but we'll definitely probably draft him in like the top 5. If we were doing a non-auction league, he would probably be a top 5 pick.
Yeah,
he'd be the only one to draft.
I really just like their O-line. Like, I think that's something that
they have a great O-line, but they're also running a running team.
Let's
also put it this way: the Falcons have constructed what could possibly be a top 5 offense in the NFL. When if you utilize properly, you have a generational running back prospect, a running back behind him that dropped 1,000 yards in his rookie season. You have a generational all-time great tight end prospect. You have a first-round pick wide receiver, a great O-line. The only question mark really is the quarterback. So if you manage, if play calling is
Arthur Smith's beard, we got to sort that out too.
If I'm Arthur Blank, if Arthur Smith does not substantially increase the offense this year, I am firing him, or I'm getting him to fire the OC because you can't blow. Literally think about it though. The potential on that offense is the greatest of any team in the NFL. The potential is the greatest of any team in the NFL.
They're over the Lions.
And if obviously they could end up being a quarterback away, but even with if you put imagine Kyle Shanahan as the head coach of that team, where the quarterback doesn't matter.
They could run. Yeah.
They would be probably they could end up fighting for the greatest show on turf.
I was about to use that phrase too. I'm happy
that they could be the greatest show on turf.
I mean, these are the questions people are asking if they can get it in play and get it to work. Also, I would say, although I absolutely despise Clemson with my life, AJ Terrell is one of the best corners in the league.
No, 100%. Obviously that defense is not fantastic by any means, but the offense should be like on paper has a potential to be one of the most prolific offenses in NFL history on paper.
All right. You guys heard it here. But yeah, I mean,
outside of the quarterback position, every other position has the potential to be up there. So I don't think that's that egregious of a take.
No. I mean, to be honest, just the way you phrase it, having just Bijan and Kyle Pitts alone, like forget Drake London, even though he's actually been playing really well, like just them two, like legitimate generational prospects at those positions. So just purely based off that, yes, that's not that crazy. I do think, we'll see if we can get it all to mesh. Arthur.
No, obviously, and Kyle Pitts is not a blocking tight end by any means.
He's a slot receiver.
He's a slot receiver. But if that's the thing is the Falcons were so run heavy last year that it fully took away from their ability to be explosive. And obviously Marcus Mariota sucked nuts, but I think
great to see on the Netflix documentary with that.
Yeah, but I think that the play calling needs to drastically change this next season, because if you're able to actually utilize these players to their potential, it's disgusting what you can do. You want the run to set up the pass, but if you only run, also, you're just kind of taking away your ability to.
This is another thing. Offense. Like, if you're the Falcons right now, I'd actually give them a solid shot at winning the division, making the playoffs. But like, is that the goal this year? Is your goal to make the playoffs to, get team chem or boost the locker room? I would say, is that the goal? I would say the number one goal is just like, obviously, unless you're going to want to tank Pitts and Bijan to work. Like,
if you want to tank and get Caleb Williams,
I'm not even necessarily saying like tank, but like on offense. I think
the goal the number one
Pitts and Bijan molded.
The number one goal is to get Bijan and Pitts to mesh, but the only way that is physically possible is if the play calling. If the play calling is improved this year and you're not just solely running, then I think you'll be able to see that. That's the first step. The second step is winning the playoff or getting into the playoffs. But that division is so terrible that
I mean, anybody can win that.
I think that they're fighting for they can. I mean, like we do on Data Day, we see that they're basically one matchup out of winning the division. So I think that that's kind of a trek they're on. I don't think that by any means they're going to be a significant playoff contender, even if they make that wild card spot, because it will be a wild card spot if they make it. But if Desmond Ridder ends up being a great quarterback, which from what I've seen is it's not impossible, I think that they could be a potential surprise team this season. And if that's the case, it has to be with improved play calling.
A Jags and win a playoff game.
If their offense becomes the way that you and I are talking about their offense, if that's what they end up doing, then yes. But if not, absolutely not. If they're just purely running, if they are purely a run first and only run team like the Titans, no, they are not going to win a playoff game. And I honestly don't think that they're going to make the playoffs. If instead they try and utilize it way more like, I don't really know if there's a team that has done it, but if they use it a little bit more like the Vikings with Adrian Peterson, where it was still run first, but they still passed a decent amount, or like LaDainian Tomlinson Chargers.
Yeah,
that's the way that their offense can run, and that's the way that I would try to use. Like, if they can do that, then great.
Yeah, I do think Bijan just brings a lot of.
It's just that it
opens a lot of doors on offense for what plays you can now run.
It definitely does, but you just cannot be one. You don't want to run Bijan's knees into the ground in his first season.
Oh, God forbid.
And secondly, if you are, we've seen there currently in the NFL, no run dominant teams like the Titans have been successful over long periods of time. And it doesn't work. So
the only team that's been able to like get it done is San Francisco. And you know what? It helps.
San Francisco isn't, I wouldn't even say San Francisco is run first. They are tight end first. And with CMC,
they're definitely run oriented.
They're run oriented, but with CMC too, and with Deebo Samuel, I wouldn't call it. It's not a traditional running offense. That's the thing.
Well,
that's the thing. This is a traditional running
McCaffrey
offense.
jet sweep is essentially you're covering just a fucking screen. It's like what the hell? Like
So that's my take. But with that, thank you guys so much for watching, listening. Rate us 5 stars. You can find us on Spotify, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, and on Instagram at WaterboyPod. Make sure to follow me and Grant at Everett's Takes and at WaterboyGrant. Make sure to subscribe, follow, download, like every video. Especially check us out on TikTok. We post every single day except for Mondays. We'll see you in the next episode. Waterboy's out.